Thank you for choosing Rust-Oleum Industrial Brands Concrete Protection Systems for your industrial maintenance project. Rust-Oleum's industrial flooring products are designed to reduce your preparation time, application time, and downtime while lengthening the lifetime of your industrial concrete floors. Rust-Oleum Corporation purchased Concrete Protection Systems, a company founded in 1984 and known for manufacturing high-quality toppings and coatings that could effectively protect concrete in even the most demanding industrial environments. Rust-Oleum CPS offers unequaled protection against chemical damage from literally thousands of industrial chemicals and the durability to withstand physical abuse from the most severe environments. While Rust-Oleum products are user-friendly, you should review the material safety data sheets, technical data sheets, application instruction guides, and label information carefully. Wearing proper personal protective equipment and adhering to sound safety procedures are necessary in any industrial setting. For all Rust-Oleum CPS products, hand mixing will produce inconsistent results and is not an approved method. Mechanical mixing is required. Before starting, make sure the materials, the surface, and the ambient air temperature fall within the published range for that product. No single facet of a concrete coating application contributes more to the success or failure of that application than the evaluation of the substrate and the proper surface preparation. The International Concrete Repair Institute has identified 9 distinct concrete surface profiles, or CSPs. These profiles replicate degrees of roughness considered to be suitable for the application of one or more of the Rust-Oleum Concrete Protection Systems coatings or toppings. Refer to the ICRI technical guidelines for selecting and specifying concrete surface preparations for sealers, coatings, and polymer overlays, guideline number 310.2-1997. The actual surface preparation method used may vary depending upon site conditions, performance criteria, and actual coating system selection. Contact Rust-Oleum Technical Services prior to starting the job if you have any questions. The recommended surface preparation method for the 8000 system Overcrete CB chemical resistant epoxy Cove Base. Surface preparation will vary depending upon the type of substrate. Contact Rust-Oleum Technical Services for more information. In this video, we will demonstrate the mixing and application procedures for the 8000 system Overcrete CB chemical resistant epoxy Cove Base. Rust-Oleum Cove Base systems utilize easy-to-trowel formulas with varying chemical resistance, leaving a seamless, heavy-duty, chemical-resistant, wall-to-floor transition ideal for food and beverage, bathrooms, and other wet environments.
The next demonstration we want to show you today is the 8000 Cove Base. Now what we're going to do is we're going to show you a technique and a way to do a radius cove base 4 inches up on the wall. We're going to use a termination strip, but I want to show you the kit itself. It comes in a 40 lineal foot kit. This one happens to be dark gray. The components that are in the kit would be the loose packed sand that we're going to use to blend with our resin and our activator. Okay, so we're going to pre-mix the base resin with the activator mechanically first. We're going to take that resin blend and we're going to put it into a bucket. We're then going to attach that bucket to the bucket mixer and slowly add the sand to it, allowing us to turn this into a trollable mortar. You can mix this material if you have a 5/8 inch drill motor and a CPS-4 mixing whip. Okay, if you have a CPS-4 mixing blade or mixing whip and a 5/8 drill motor, you can mix this material easily like that as well. But for a lot of mixing on a big project, I would highly recommend you go with a bucket mixer. It's just a much easier way to blend the materials. Now, when doing trowel-applied cove base, one of the things that is required is a little bit of a resin tack coat on the vertical portion of the wall. There's 2 ways of going about this. You can leave a little bit of the resin off that's in the bucket of what we're pre-mixing now, or you can just buy, if you have a lot of wall to do, then you can buy our penetrating prime and seal primer or our floor clad primer. You can paint that up onto the vertical. You don't need a lot. You don't want to make it real wet. You're just putting a thin tack coat on there. And what that tack coat does is help keep us very good adhesion values to that wall. So we don't want the material being troweled up and then falling off. We want to make sure we achieve excellent adhesion values to the wall. So you see we're pre-mixing the A and B, the resin and the activator. Again, we're using dark gray for this demonstration. And once we've mixed that for about 45 seconds to a minute, we can transfer that material into our bucket that's mounted on the bucket mixer. And then we'll slowly start adding the sand to it. So we're adding the sand to the activated base. Now it comes as a pre-measured kit. The amount of sand that we package in there is typically the amount that's required. If you need to leave a little bit out, you can do that, but under normal circumstances, typically use all the sand that's packaged into the kit. If you start leaving too much sand out or modifying the mix as we've designed it, you might run into problems with being able to trowel it properly or have it hang on the wall the way it's intended to hang on the wall. What's unique about this particular Cove Base blend is that it makes it very easy to trowel while still being able to hang on the vertical. It closes up nicely, so it's not very porous. It nests together well, and it's very dense once it's troweled tight. We've got a mock layup, and we've got a termination strip that's mounted. Point to that, Mike. We've got a termination strip that's mounted 4 inches up on the wall. It's just an L channel. You can use an L channel or a J channel. We source these locally at the big box stores. Any good flooring type store will have this type of termination channel. And you see about 2 inches from the wall, we've got a piece of duct tape. Now this is set up for an application that would tie a 1/4 inch flooring system, like our slurry system, into this particular Cove Base. And the way it's designed is that we're going to apply a wet primer to the vertical surface first, which will aid in adhesion of the mortar material to the wall. Once we apply the vertical material up on the wall, we'll then add a little extra of the mortar material, and we'll use a coving trowel to create our radius on the wall. So we want to create a nice radius on this wall. We're going to use an 1.25 inch, 1.5 inch coving trowel to finish it off with. So Mike's going to demonstrate the priming, application, and the application of the materials for you right now. So we're just putting enough primer up on that wall to create a tack coat. And that tacky coat is going to help with adhesion of the mortar to the vertical surface. In this instance, we're using some of the reserved resin that we got right out of our Cove Base kit. For larger applications, you can use our penetrating prime and seal primer or floor clad primer. We've applied our tack coat of primer to the vertical and the corner there on the base of where the floor meets the wall. We've got our duct tape set up for about 2 inches or so in width away from the wall. And now we're going to apply the mortar material to the vertical portion of the wall first. And we're just using a 3-inch wide steel finishing trowel for this application. So we'll pull that vertical material up first. And once you get your vertical material put in place with your steel trowel, we'll put a little extra material down in that corner, and we'll use our radius coving trowel to finish this and create a nice clean radius. Now, depending on the size radius that's specified for the application, you can use as little as a 3/4 inch, whatever is required. We just happen to like to demonstrate this 1 inch and a quarter to 1 inch and a half radius, because it's what we typically see in food and beverage type applications. They like to have a nice radius transition coming off the walls to the floor, because they don't allow any 90-degree corners. They don't like those 90-degree angles in the food and beverage industry. So we wet the trowel with a little bit of trowel aid. In this case, we're using a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. Xylene works well. And by using a forward and backward motion with about a 5-degree tilt on the trowel, we just slick that right off. And you can come back with a brush and with a trowel to clean up the excess. And once you pull your tape, you will have achieved what you set out to do, and that's create this nice radius trowel transition from the wall to the floor. Now, it's always good, there's always a little bit of excess. When you're doing an operation like this, it's always good to make sure you have somebody coming behind you and cleaning that up as you go. Pull our tape. And we've got a nice clean radius cove. The materials make a difference, okay? The materials make a difference. If you're not fighting the materials to get them to hang to the wall, you're not having to over-trowel them back and forth to get them to smooth out and close. It makes for a real easy application. I think you'll find that in comparison to other coving type materials, or even in comparison to trying to blend your own, this material is extremely user-friendly. In the bucket, you've got about 35 to 40 minutes working time, okay? Because we've added aggregate to it, we slow that exotherming down. So, typical 70 to 75 degree day, you're going to have about 30 minutes, 35 to 40 at the most, to get this stuff to where you can get it out of the bucket and get it onto the wall and finished. Now, inside corners and outside corners, okay? So you trowel up to, let's say, an inside corner, and you get to as far as you can get with your trowels, and you got that little space left on the inside corner. What do? Actually, one of the easiest tools you can use is a spoon. And you dip that spoon in a little solvent, and you can bring that corner right out on that inside corner, okay? Just take a tablespoon, steel tablespoon, dip it in a little solvent, and dress that corner out with that spoon. It works fantastically for these inside corners. Outside corners, you can work an outside corner right up to the edge, and using a second trowel, you just hold that trowel in place, and you can get that material to stay. You'll have a sharp edge there, so what I do is I take that sharp edge and I brush the sharp edge down with a brush, and then you'll be able to break that corner. So you can see we were able to demonstrate how the material closes up. And again, when you get to these ends and you have a termination, a stopping point, you can always cut that off. And that way you've got a nice straight line to come back into, okay? So this happens to be 8,000 Cove Base. All the Cove Base products work in the same way. We wet prime. We pull up to a vertical first. We add a little extra material, smooth it out with your coving trowel. You only need about a 5-degree tilt on that trowel. Basically a forward motion, a backward motion, and it's all you need to do. It'll slick it right out. Now, when we tie our floor into this, if you want to, you could put a little piece of tape up here on this edge so you get a straight line. Bring your slurry floor up to it. Do your broadcast, pull that tape off, and you've got a nice clean transition to the floor. When you come back to glaze the floor, you run that glaze coat right up that cove, and it all ties in together. Do we have Cove Base for bright cast? The answer is yes, we have Cove Base for bright cast. However, when you order the kit, you need to order extra sand of the bright cast color that you're using. 25 pounds of sand per kit needs to be added into the kit. So we provide you the resin, the activator, some of the base sand, and then you add the color quartz that's needed, the amount of 25 pounds per kit, and that gives you your color quartz cove base. A few different details that we show in our book. We'll show you some coving options. The option's going to be radius, even a 45 degree, what we call a cant cove, a 45 degree cove, which can be done in any dimension that you need from the floor to the wall. It just makes coving a much more easy process when you have the right materials and the materials are at the right consistency. And you have a process. And I think this process is one that we've shared with a lot of folks. Vertical application, use your coving trowel, clean up the edges, let it cure, and then bring your floor up to the cove and you're done. Cure time for this product is going to be about 8 hours or so. You're going to need at least 8 hours for it to get firm. Somewhere between 70 to 75 degrees, you're looking at 8 hours. In hotter temperatures, it might be as low as 6 hours, 6 to 8, but somewhere in that 6 to 10 hour range from the high end and the low end of the temperature range we specify, which is between 65 and 90 degrees. So typically what you'll see is they'll get all the coving work done, all the prep work done, patch work done on the floor, they'll do their cove base, they'll get their primer down, and then they'll come back in the next day and tie the floor into the cove. Okay? And we have a detail in the book that shows that transition from wall to cove to floor. And that's what we like to see on the cove systems. For cleanup, you can use 160 thinner, xylene, or MEK to clean your application tools. Then dispose of the materials and packaging according to local, state, and federal regulations.
We hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions, please contact us at 800-553-8444 or rust-oleum.com/industrial. Thank you for choosing Rust-Oleum, the name that means protection.